described, the thing of meaning, having meaning in this life. And that meaning has a different definition for everybody. I mean, everybody's meaning is different. I mean, your meaning might be very different than mine or Jamie's. I mean, you kind of have to have your own path. And I think that's also one of the reasons why people are so confused, is because you're thrust into an early age into a very rigid system of education, and then of jobs, and then of career structure, where you're in this place, and most people don't feel like that's what they're supposed to be doing. And we feel very alienated by the very structure of society that we are embedded in.
Of course. Well, one of the, there's two primary masculine mythological figures, and one is the wise king, and the other is the king who devours his own son. Right? That's the patriarchy that the feminists are always talking about. Well, of course, it's always there. So society is a destructive force. It doesn't care about you as an individual. It needs you to be part of society. It needs you to adopt the norms and to squelch your peculiar individuality, and to be a cog, and to be socialized, and, to hem yourself in and control yourself and not be impulsive. And yeah, it's a tyrant. But the thing is, society isn't only a tyrant. That's the thing. It's like, how about a little gratitude in there? Well, people have a hard time with this because we like it when a thing is only one thing. But society is always two things. It's the thing that alienates you and the thing that's your benevolent father. Always. Now, sometimes it tilts harder towards the tyrant, and that's not so good. But that's an archetypal reality. So, what do you have to contend with in life? This is why these are archetypal realities, because everyone has to contend with them. You have to contend with yourself and the adversary that's inside you that seems to oppose your every movement. The fact that you just can't move forward smoothly through life without being in conflict with yourself. So there's the hero and the adversary on the individual level. And then on the social level, there's the wise king and the tyrant. You're always going to run into that. I don't care if you're a Bantu tribesman or a New York lawyer. All those things you're going to run into. And then in the natural world, you're going to run into the destructive element of nature, right? That's the Gorgon. You let that thing get a glance at you, and you're one like frozen puppy. But also there's the benevolent element of nature. That's feminine. That's Mother Nature. Both of those extremes. So, and that's the world. That's the archetypal world. And it's because it's eternal as far as human beings are concerned. Those things are always there. That's our true environment. It's not these things we see around us. They're lasting no time. These other things last forever. And that's what we're adapted to. We're adapted to the things that last forever. So,
but yet we go through this finite life searching for meaning.
Well, and it's funny to note where meaning seems to locate itself. You want a meaning that justifies the suffering. It's something like that. That's a transcendent meaning. It's like, this is hard, but it's worth it. Okay, so what do? Pick something worth it, right? That's partly what I try to get people to do with that future authoring program. So say, okay, look, here's a place to start. You got your miserable self right now. It's like 3 to 5 years out. Imagine what your life could be like if you had what you would give yourself if you were taking care of yourself. What would life be like? Just come up with an idea even about that. And so then people do that. And then they write out a plan to attain it. And then the college kids are like 30% more likely to stay in university if they do that, especially if they're men. Because men need a purpose. I think women have a purpose. Now they have two purposes. They're going to have a family. That's a major purpose, man. Like just to give birth. That's no joke. And then you're devoted to something for like 20 years. You got your adventure right there.
Yeah, but a lot of women find great offense in someone saying that, especially a man saying that, mansplaining that a woman's purpose is to breed, right? I mean, isn't that a giant issue that a lot of women have?
Well, I didn't say that was the only purpose.
I know that you didn't.
Oh, yeah, people have an issue with it, but it's like, grow up. If you're a sophisticated person, as far as I'm concerned, how many important things are there in life? Well, one of them's family. Like, it's as simple as that. Now, you might say, well, family isn't the end-all solution. It's like, yeah, well, thanks for pointing that out, I've dealt with plenty of pathological families. But it's a huge part of life. You have a mother and a father, you have children, it places you in the world. And any society that Look, there's a reason societies worship the Virgin Mother and the child. It's because societies that don't die. And so people say, well, you know, that relationship between mother and child isn't the only thing. Okay, fine. It's still a sacred thing. And you miss it. You miss it. If you're female, you miss that at your peril. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't women who shouldn't miss it, because maybe they have another purpose that transcends that. But that's rare. It's very, very rare. And I would caution any women listening, if they're young, not to be deluded into the idea that their career will be of such high quality that it self-evidently trumps having a family. You have to have a hell of a career before that's the case. So